The sentencing memorandum was released in the early hours of the morning via the prosecution. Diddy is basically getting jumped by everybody. He's getting jumped so bad right now that I didn't even expect it, because it seemed that everybody's come out to put, character supporting statements basically not only for him, but what I mean by he's being jumped is that people have also now put up statements against him. Capricorn Clark, Deontay Nash, Cassie, Mia, but no Jane. Jane is nowhere to be found. She's gone missing. Where is Jane? Hey guys, it's Morali daily and consistent content. Subscribe to the channel. Click that button. Give this video a thumbs up. I don't even know why I'm whispering, guys. It's for dramatic effect. But at this point, do we even need drama when we're discussing Diddy? Because he provides it as it is. Basically, long story short, instead of me reading out the entire memorandum and sentencing memo, the prosecution, guys, they want 135 months of imprisonment at maximum, which is 11 years. So they're looking at 108 to 135 months of imprisonment. 8 to 11 years or so is what they are looking at for the two Mann Act charges. This is a very stark contrast to the defense, because they are looking at only him walking out right now. They're looking at the fact that he's done all the credit, all the prison now, and therefore he should be able to walk on the day. That's what they want. Huge difference, because prosecution won 10 to 11 years. 10 to 11 years. And what they count in their memorandum, if you can see, they talk about the fact that he was somebody who was an organizer or leader of criminal activity with criminal participants, and he willfully obstructed or impeded or attempted to obstruct or impede the admin of justice. They talk about Jane and Cassie in terms of the the levels of how many units. There are a total of 6 units, for example. 5 levels are added. They add more levels to each one to explain as to why they are going for a guideline of 130 to 108 to 135. Because the victim sustained serious bodily injury, because the defendant knew or should have known that a victim of the offense was a vulnerable victim, because he was an organizer or leader. These are all different levels that they are basically describing in bullet point form in a very clear, concise manner, guys, as to why. I thought it'd be easier for me to just let you know what the months are, as opposed to reading the entire sentencing memo for like 10 minutes. 135 months. They're looking at 11 years. Judge Arun might even give that. But when it comes to these statements, Jane is nowhere to be seen. Why has she not given a statement? Jane was back and forth on Diddy. Jane, tied me out on the stand. I think she tied all of us out, where she basically just, her story kept going. It was just very confusing. Gina obviously did not testify. She ran away and then wanted to come out of the parking lot talking about she's glad Diddy XYZ. So Jane not giving a statement is very intriguing. That could impact the sentencing. That could make Judge Arun look at this very differently, because he did mention Jane and Cassie. So Jane not coming to give that, he might be like, what's going on? But then at the same time, the Judge Arun did say that Diddy is a danger to society, and Mark Agnafilo, Diddy's own lawyer, did say that this was a DV case. So surely, in that theory, there could be women out there or men who could be afraid to give statements against Diddy because of the violence that he could ensue, or the fear of the atmosphere that he has created. Boom. That's probably why Jane did not give a statement, because she basically ineffectively or effectively feared for her life. If you don't put me in that court tonight fighting for the prosecution, I mean, I was going to say if you don't put me in that court, but I am in that court. I was there a couple of days ago. Now, the sentencing is going to be this Friday. It's going to be absolute manic. Guys, I don't expect to be in the courtroom on Friday, because there are going to be so many people who's probably going to want to be there. A lot more media circus than, the initial hearing that we had last week. So I don't expect to get access inside the courtroom. Hopefully there is an overflow room for us to get into to see what's going on. If not, of course, we'll be outside, following activity, alongside the press as they sit outside. That is probably the best that we can do, because I'm not going to be out here queuing up at 1 a.m, 2 a.m, camping out in a tent to find out how many months or years Diddy's going to get. For me, it's just not that serious. I will be there on time to see, but I'm not going to be doing the camping stuff. But anyways, let's get into these sentencing memorandum and not memorandum. Let's get into the victim statements, where this is what Cassie has basically stated. I've been in a cycle of thought and then overthought writing this letter to you. If there is one thing I've learned from this experience, is that victims and survivors will never be safe. For 4 days in May, whilst 9 months pregnant with my son, I testified in front of a packed courtroom about traumatic, horrifying chapters. I testified that from age 19, Sean used violence, threats, and substances and control over my career. He groomed me into performing repeated acts with hired male workers weekly. I was forced into lingerie heels, told what to do, and plied with substances so he could control me like a puppet. These events were just, degrading and disgusting, leaving me with infections. I testified that I learned to read Sean Combs' signals, knowing that when he spoke of free cops, he was demanding them, and then refusing meant punishment, losing my car, my phone, or worse. He controlled every part of me. I testified beyond these threats. Sean Combs used violence to get his way. Over the nearly 11 years we were together, he would hit me, punch me, stomp on my face, pull my hair, and throw my body to the ground against the wall. The jury saw pictures of bruises, and etc. So this is a very strong statement, guys, that she has put forward. Judge Arun, looking at this, reading this, it's going to be very stark. I'm glad that Cassie has come to do this. Cassie was the one who wrote a statement to explain why she does not want this man bailed. When Diddy basically got acquitted, Diddy was asking to be released immediately. When he got acquitted of Rico, she came out swinging with that statement to say, Judge Arun, don't give him bail. This statement, victim impact statement, to me is most impactful. Then we have Mia's statement as well, talking about the horror that she went through. The little girl in me is gone. She was buried alive by an abuser, trapped in a world of terror, abuse, humiliation, and coercive control. Come on, Mia. Come on, dictionary. She is coming. She's coming through, guys. Dragging him as well. Then Capricorn Clark is whacking him, talking about when I lived and working for Puff, and in particular the events of December 2011, it altered the course of my life and it haunted my years. I feel that I paid with my life for the events that transpired. That day we had to relive in federal court. I never wanted this. It's insane to me that of all the things that people heard, 2 counts of prostitution of men is the only thing that remains on the table. I wanted to speak up, tell the truth, and do the right thing when I asked to testify. But I'm afraid that women and girls in America feel less protected than ever watching what happened. I agree. I completely agree. Completely agree with Capricorn saying. Then we got Deontay Nash also jumping in as well, saying that Mr. Combs' attempts to secure release before his scheduled sentencing hearing demonstrates a troubling lack of accountability and a continued pattern of manipulation. Again, talking about how he deserves jail time and that he is disturbing and frightening. So all of these victim impactment statements, I'm not reading them word for word, basically are whacking him left, right, and center. These victim impact statements are a lot more impactful to me and just in general than I believe all of the character supporting statements that came through. Why? Because we're only getting 3 to 4. We're not getting 25, in character supporting statements that Diddy received from people that were even in what Cassie's speech was saying when she was testifying. Cassie even said that some people who were harming her, those people came forward to support Diddy. How do you think that's going to look, defense? How do you think that's going to look to Judge Arun? These victim impactment statements are very important, and I think that they will tremendously have a massive impact, guys, when it comes to all of this. It's going to have a massive impact. 135 months, 11 years. If Diddy gets locked up for 10 plus years, that's going to be bad news. If it's 5 years, I can see him getting out on 3 with good behavior because he is a first-time offender. But 10 plus, I would see that as a loss for the defense. Because they want him out now. So anything longer than now is even a loss as it is. But I could see Judge Arun. If Judge Arun gives him like 3-4 years, then in my opinion, that isn't enough. 10 plus years, or I would say 8 plus years is a loss for Diddy. Considering that the Mann Act charges are what is on the table. It's not RICO, which is life. Whew. I'm not even going to make a prediction of how many years I think this man's going to get, because you cannot predict Judge Arun. This man likes to whack Diddy left, right, center unexpectedly. So, you can't. You really can't. I can't predict none of this. I'm not going to predict any of it. Maybe you guys can in the comments below. I'm not going to do it. But he's basically being whacked by the prosecution, and also these victim impact statements have come, and I'm glad. I'm glad that Cassie came forward. I'm glad that I'm glad Capricorn came forward. Jane, where you at? Where you at, Jane? Cat got your tongue. Somebody got to you. Did somebody get to you? Was it the Sons? Or somebody talk? What's going on? Let me know your thoughts, guys, when it comes to this video. Do subscribe to the channel, comment down below, give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. It's just 1 click to subscribe. Join Morad Nation, become a Morader. It's just 1 click. It goes a long way. Send a tip if you guys wish to. I would appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys soon for another video.